Hello, Nasreen. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making time to join us for this conversation today. I'm excited.
Hi, thank you so much for having me, Abigail. I'm equally excited about this.
It's been a while, so like maybe we can just catch up, then we start with the conversation. What have you been up to?
Yeah, I've been okay. Just writing, doing other stuff. Yeah, it can get quite stressful, but we're just on it. hmm
I know, right?
Yeah. And how about you? How about you? How is everything?
Well, I haven't written much. Mostly working on the advocacies and trying to get the
Mm-hmm.
writers community going, and yeah, planning activities here and there. Yeah, I've not done
Yes.
much writing. Yeah, I
Oh, that
will.
is
I
good.
will. I will soon.
Yeah.
I'll join you
Well, you're
soon.
doing a good job. You're doing a good job, so yeah, it's worth it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so let's get into the conversation now. I'm sure our listeners are eager to know who is Nazreen, like what is your background? How did all this start? The writing, the creative journey. Can you just give us a brief about yourself and then your background as a writer?
Okay, so my name is Nasreen Zankawah,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm a writer and I'm also a journalist, and I'm a literary blogger as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I started writing, serious writing,
Mm-hmm.
when I was it was during my first degree.
Okay.
Yeah, at the time I was pursuing my first degree, and I took this serious after I had a creative writing class. It was just a brief course, within the semester.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, I started with my blog,
Mm-hmm.
where I I mainly published opinion articles because by then I was studying journalism.
Yeah.
So as a journalism student, I just wanted to make good use of the knowledge I was acquiring at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I started. So in 2020, I published my first novel, which is titled The President's Bodyguard, and that was when I started writing short stories and poetry in addition to the opinion articles I was already doing.
Oh, okay. You
So,
write poetry as well.
oh yes, I do. I do.
Mm.
Yeah. So, yeah. So that's just how everything came about, and I think since then, even though life gets busy sometimes, so
Yeah.
like you said, even for you right now, you don't write as much as you would
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
happens to everyone, you
Mm.
know. So, and since we are not full-time writers,
Mm.
have to do other things
I
and
like
all that. So
that.
it comes in the way of your writing sometimes, but regardless, it's just the perseverance and the passion you have for it that will
Mm.
keep you going. And
Yeah.
so that's just how it's been working out for me so far.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I know there's this saying that every good writer is first a good reader. Do you have any
Yes.
favorite author or any favorite book that kind of inspires your journey as a creative writer as well?
Oh, personally for me, so the books I read most, were so when I was in high school, I used
Mm-hmm.
to read Peggy Opon's books a lot. Yeah, that
Mm-hmm.
was for high school, and I used to read other books as well. I
Mm-hmm.
don't really remember so much.
Do you
I
limit
don't really
yourself to
remember.
African authors? Or
Oh no, no, like I actually read broadly.
mm,
So in high school, I think in high school and junior high, I think I read more of African books.
mm-hmm.
Then I think after high school, or even when I was still in high school, I started reading other foreign books.
Mm,
And my favorite authors were John Grisham,
mm-hmm.
Daniel Steele, and
Yeah.
I also loved Sidney Sheldon.
Mm,
Yeah, so with the foreign authors, with those I really loved. And then I loved Chimamanda as well, and I still do.
mm.
Like I really love her
We
books
all
and
do.
all of that. Exactly. So yeah, so I actually get my inspiration from all these authors, but
Mm,
then I still read other books as well.
mm,
Yeah.
mm. Do you limit your writing to specific genres or specific themes?
Oh no, I do not.
Mm,
So when I write something, it just depends on what comes to mind.
mm,
And I just feel that for now, I wouldn't want to limit myself to just one genre.
mm,
Because if I do that, for me, it's like limiting my creativity.
mm,
What if I come up with an idea that's out of a genre I have
mm,
chosen?
mm,
Then I'm stuck, and then this idea will just be in my mind, and
mm.
I'll keep regretting that I'm unable to write it just
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it's
putting
not
yourself in
my
that box.
genre. Exactly. So I'm one person that I would want to write everything, so
Yeah.
long as it's an idea I have and I think
Mm,
I can actually develop it really well.
mm,
So I really don't mind even ever writing children's book at some point. I mean, children's books at some point. I wouldn't
mm,
mind. It
mm,
will depend on what idea I have and
mm,
probably the goals I want to achieve with that. You
mm,
know,
mm.
yeah. So yes, for now, I don't think I want to limit myself.
I told myself I'm never going to write a sci-fi, but just recently, I read a book written by, it was actually a Ghanaian male author. He wrote this beautiful science fiction, and like, I just love the story. I'm like, okay, maybe I can try it someday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
exactly.
he has a strong background in the sciences, like he's a biochemist or something. So I feel like
Okay.
I don't have that, but I think it's all about researching and like you trying
Of
to connect.
course.
Mm,
Exactly.
mm,
You don't really have to have a science background. So
mm,
I attended an event before where we had authors,
mhm,
and there was this sci-fi writer.
mm.
I don't think he mentioned that he had any science background,
Background.
but then he wrote
Mm.
it because he watched a lot of, sci-fi
Spy movies.
movies,
Yeah.
and he
Yeah.
read, a lot of books in that genre.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's just how you start.
Mm, mm,
Yes.
mm. Okay, so let's get into your works, your creative
Hmm.
works.
Hmm.
What are some of the your favorites first, and then those that you would love to share with us when it comes to your creative works? Yeah.
My creative works. Also, I love writing short stories.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Aside from the two books I published, which are The President's Bodyguard and The Wild Rose, I really love writing short stories because you can actually finish them in a very short period,
Yeah.
you know. And because I also have a literary blog, it just gives me that leverage. So I'm
Yeah.
able to share it with whoever I want to share it with. I don't need to wait years,
Mm-hmm.
to get it to get any proper work done on it, because it's just like it's something I love to do, so it's more like a
Mm-hmm.
hobby and a passion. So what I do is once I'm done writing my short story, I try to edit it as much as I can, and then
Mm-hmm.
I just publish it on my blog, and then I share it, with
Mm-hmm.
people who are interested or anyone who would want to read. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I think so far that's actually what I really love, you know, best. But then I also love my novels, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because I actually have that dream to
Mm-hmm.
become, one of the best novelists
Yeah.
in Ghana and across Africa and the world. So yes, I'm trying to put in more work in that
Mm-hmm.
area as well. Yeah, so I would just say generally I love everything I do. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I love everything.
Talking about the short stories, are you looking forward
Mhm.
to maybe one day publish all of them in one book, like all your short story collections in one book?
Oh yes, yes.
Mm,
I think in
mm,
the near future I would do that.
mm,
Yes,
mm,
I think I would certainly. I would.
mm.
Yeah.
That's nice. That's good to know. But do you also put your like do you share a bit of yourself in your books or your writings? Do you do that? Do you share a
Mhm.
bit of you? Maybe when your readers read your books, are they able to like connect? Most people are not, they have this private lives, they don't
Mm-hmm.
want to share any aspect of that. But I think writing is also a way to connect with people. So if
Mm-hmm.
someone pick your book to read, let's say the person doesn't even know who you are or where you're coming from,
Mm-hmm.
once they are able to connect with a theme or a character or something in the book, I think it also helps to it encourages the person to try and at least get, like, read your book or read your work. So
Mm-hmm.
do you do that? Do you do that, or is it like a struggle for you, or you are okay sharing a piece of you in your books?
For fiction, I barely share any piece of myself.
Mm, mm,
Yes, for fiction, so for fiction and poetry, usually I just write them to effect some sort of change,
mm,
right?
mm,
Um, the parts, the writings that you'd actually find me as a whole is with the nonfiction I write, and even on my blog, I've posted a couple of nonfiction
mm,
pieces. So those are
mm,
like real stories. So it's just about
mm.
me, you know.
Oh,
So those it's just another part of my blog. So
yeah.
when you read
Mm,
it, you know that you are reading about me, and this is an incident that happened. But
mm,
for fiction, I barely do that. Everything I write is just from my imagination, and
mm,
probably a message I just want to send out, you know.
mm,
So for instance, with the wild rose, for yeah, so for the wild rose, the major theme is centered on mental health.
mm,
So that way I'm just trying to create awareness, you
mm,
know.
mm.
And this
So
I
more
wouldn't
like your
say
advocacy point of
exactly,
view.
you know. Yeah, so I'm just advocating in a way for
Mm,
something to be done about this.
okay.
Yeah, so for fiction, so far, with what I have so far, is it's just different from who I am. I'm just creating something,
Mm,
from scratch.
mm.
Yes. And
Mhm,
same
mhm,
with poetry as well. So the
mm,
poetry too, I just write about things that happen, especially in Ghana. So if you
mm,
read most of my poems, it's just social issues,
mm,
things that really happen to people.
mm.
Yeah.
Talking about the social issues, are there any you are very passionate about that, like, you channel into your writing?
Oh, so far, I think with social issues, I think I've written about the economy before.
Mm-hmm.
And that one, I titled it Hitonomy.
Mm,
Yeah, because I think that was in 2022 or 2023. I don't really remember what year
mm,
that was.
mm,
But at that time, the economy was so terrible in Ghana.
mm, mm,
And so, I wrote about it.
mm,
And I remember ever writing about the educational system
in
as
Ghana.
well. Yeah, in Ghana,
Mm,
I did.
mm,
And it was
mm.
even published in a magazine.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Yes, yes. So it was the magazine for the Federation of African Law Students. Yes, it
Okay.
was published in it. And I remember also writing about sexual abuse, you know.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, and I also wrote about was it racism? No,
mm.
yeah, more like racism and people being treated differently.
Discrimination. Mm,
Yeah, discrimination. I guess, I wrote about that as well. Yeah, so
mm,
far it just depends on what I see,
mm,
So
mm.
I wouldn't really tilt toward just one social issue. I
Mm.
just write it as it happens. So
That's a
when I see it and I'm
mm,
like, I need to write about this, and I do. So that's
mm,
what I normally do.
mm. Well, okay. So, how has your personal beliefs also shaped your writing?
If you say my personal beliefs, in what way exactly?
Do you have principles? You're like, okay, these are principles I live by. So, I'm not going to maybe write about anything that doesn't go
Hmm.
with my principles. Like, do you usually do that, or
Oh,
like you keep an
mm,
open mind? Mm.
yeah. So normally, one thing I wouldn't want to do is push my beliefs on anyone.
Yeah, yeah.
That's the first thing because we're all different people. We have different backgrounds.
Mm.
But like you said, there are certain things I will not just write about.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know,
Mm.
yeah. So if I don't
I
believe
think
in
we
something,
all
I
have
won't.
that. We all do.
Yeah. So there are certain things I will not just write about. And I
Mm,
think so far, even with my writing, anyone at all can even read what I write, like from
yeah,
kids to
yeah.
whoever, because so far I haven't really gone, I haven't actually written anything so erotic,
Mm,
you know?
mm.
Yeah, I haven't really
Would you
written
want to
anything
try
so,
that? Would you want to try
maybe in
that?
the future, maybe in the
Mm,
future,
mm,
probably like later,
mm.
but right now I really don't think, I really don't, I'm not motivated to do that
To
yet.
do that, yeah.
So
You
maybe
need a lot of motivation for that.
I know, like I need a lot of motivation for that. But so far, I just stick to the story and what I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Even though I introduce romance,
Mm,
right?
mm.
I'm talking about romance. You can feel it, but I just don't
Go
make
beyond that.
it. I
Mm,
don't. I don't really go beyond that. So
mm,
I don't go too deep.
mm.
With certain things. Yeah.
Well, as a female creative or female writer in Ghana,
Mhm. Mhm.
how has your writing been influenced or impacted negatively due to maybe some experiences? Have you had any unique challenges as a female writer in Ghana?
Oh, yes. I've had some challenges, and I wouldn't even say it's because I'm female.
Mm,
Those challenges are just challenges everybody will even face.
mm,
And
mm,
one has to do with the publishing industry in Ghana.
mm,
Yeah, like getting publishers in Ghana can be so tough.
mm.
Yeah, it can really be so tough. And if you're not lucky, it can actually demoralize you.
A wall, eh?
If you're going to say, if you don't have enough passion, you would end up
Giving up. Hmm.
giving up. Yeah, you would. So it's actually one thing. It was one challenge I went through, and also with getting people to actually support your work
Mm,
can is also a challenge.
mm,
Because me personally, with my books, I try reaching out to. In fact, I try reaching out to other women.
mm,
People, women who are up there, and I
mm,
can count the people who actually helped. Like I can literally count them.
mm, mm,
And
mm.
trust me,
Is that
it can
few?
make
Is that few?
it's not few. Like it's
Hmm.
that yeah. Like I really don't think if they are not up to five, they wouldn't exceed five. And I'm talking about like those top people, at the top.
Yeah.
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 Because you think that because I'm female and they're also female and these are people that
You know,
actually preach
hmm,
feminism and stuff,
it's so
so you're
hard,
like
eh? Hmm.
yeah, so you're like, oh, okay, since you're female and they are actually mentors, right? Because most of them are actually mentors. So you're like, okay, maybe they'll try to help you and all that. But no, not all of them. And one woman I'll always be grateful to
Hmm.
is Amma Pratt. Mami
Hmm.
Amma Pratt. Yeah,
Hmm.
she's the managing director of Pan African Television.
Hmm.
Like she's one of those women that gave me a chance. She was
Hmm.
the one who gave me like a free airtime on her show to
Hmm.
talk about my first book.
Hmm.
And after that interview I had with her, like I had positive responses
Hmm. Hmm.
from people, showing interest in my book and
You,
all that. So yeah,
I'm,
so I
I'm
guess
I'm glad you mentioned that because it's something people don't even want to talk like women don't want to talk about it when they have those experiences with other women. But
okay.
I feel as much as we preach feminism and all that, sometimes there's this innate edge of rivalry or competition. They're
Mm-hmm,
like,
mm-hmm.
okay, well, I also struggled to get here, so you should also struggle to get there as well. Like, it doesn't make it easier, but I feel like some of these things, it really doesn't help because if you're always advocating that, okay, women should work together, women should uplift each other, and you are
Exactly.
the same person creating these roadblocks, like, I think it's just like you are preaching something else, but you are doing something else.
I know, I know.
It's not inspiring. I've also had some equally bad experiences with women in positions to
Exactly.
think. okay, it should have gone easier, or they could, even if they couldn't give you a chance, they should give you the encouragement not to give up, or try and see how they can create another opportunity for you, or share, like, sometimes you just need that word of motivation, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's not forthcoming. I think
I
it's
know.
it's
Yeah, I
not.
totally understand. So, like, and some of them were, look, some of them can be actually snobbish, because I was snubbed once.
That's even
Oh my
worse.
goodness. I was like, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore. So it came to a time when I just stopped contacting anyone,
Mm, mm,
yeah, but like I said, there were a few who were so good. There was even a particular woman who
mm,
I just called her on phone. She never
mm,
met me before, and I
mm.
called to invite her, to my book launch, and she agreed, and
Okay.
she actually came. And
Oh,
guess what? Later, I discovered that my dad knew her,
you
or my
see.
dad knows her, and she didn't even know I was my dad's daughter. Can you imagine? She
Oh,
actually agreed to come. And after I told my dad that, oh, I invited this woman, my
this
dad was like,
person.
yeah. My dad was like, oh, yeah, when you were a baby, she knew you, but like she hasn't seen you since
In
then.
you. Oh,
And so
you see.
my father called her, and she was so happy. She was like, are you kidding? Is this really
Is this
Nasreen?
the baby I knew?
Yeah, she was like, I didn't know she was the one. So can you imagine? Like, so we have people like these, like women that would
It's
they'll
just a
stand
matter
by
of
you,
connecting, reaching
you
out.
know, you know. So yeah, like I
Mm,
said, just
mm,
as we have people who wouldn't give you a chance, we
mm.
have people who would. So I just think that we just, as a woman, just hope and pray you meet
Meet
people
those
who
people.
understand you and who actually push you to achieve your dreams. And another thing is, people have the choice to want to help or
Mm,
not.
It's just up to them. Hmm.
It's up to them. You can never force them, and
Mm,
that's that's their own choice. So you can, at the end, you can't really blame anyone if you look at
mhm.
it.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, that's why you don't have to give up. Like, the
yeah,
worst is giving up. You just have to find a way to keep pushing.
exactly. And you can't be entitled to anyone's help.
Yes, yes.
I'll never
That
advise
sense of
anyone to do
that sense
that.
of
Like,
entitlement.
never, yeah, never be entitled to anyone's help. Yeah,
Thank you for that piece of advice. But
yeah.
how can you, how, in your opinion, okay, how do you think society can collectively support female writers or female creatives?
Well, one way is to
Mm,
patronize their books, read what they write, just give them words of encouragement, um, share with them opportunities.
mm,
If society or whoever knows a female who is struggling with writing or trying to actually be a better person
mm,
or achieve her goals with writing, whenever you get any opportunity that you think would benefit her, just let her know. you know,
mm,
invite her to such events,
mm.
tell people about her. She doesn't really
Her
have to
work.
be there with you.
Mm,
No, she doesn't have to be there with you. Just just let people know who she is.
mm,
And if you love her book, let people know that you love her books and they will love it too. Or you love her writing and
mm.
probably why you love her writing. So all these just it actually helps in influencing people
Exactly.
you
Exactly.
know so that way you're also influencing other people in a way to love this person's work and to also support this person.
Mm, mm.
Yeah.
Earlier, you mentioned your challenges, and that challenge is actually relatable. Most of the female writers, or most of the creative female young creatives I speak to,
Mm-hmm,
their challenges. It's not, should I, okay, let me not use the word young. Let me use aspiring, because there
okay.
are women who have achieved a certain level of career growth, but they want to start writing, and they also have these challenges
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
published. Getting published. How do you think we can tackle that situation? As do you think it's a one person problem, or how do you think government or people in those right places can actually help to improve this whole situation about publishing, getting creative works published, getting it out there? because these publishers we have in Ghana, well, based on experiences, personal experiences, and experiences that other ladies or other women have shared with me,
Mm-hmm.
they are not willing, they are not open to publish the kind of stories we write. Like they are mostly concerned about these academic
Exactly. Oh, yes,
textbooks
you're
and
right.
this.
Yeah,
So
you're right. Yeah, yeah,
I'm
you're
like,
right.
to what point, to what end, and how are we? How can we get this tackled, especially as a society?
Well, one thing is, I just think we have to revive the publishing industry. That's
Mm.
the thing. Because that's just how we can get our work out.
That's the well,
You
it's
know,
one of the ways, but
yeah, it's one of the ways though.
mhm,
And I think
mhm,
now with the help of social media and
that's what is
the
helping.
advancement of
So,
technology,
mhm,
we're able
mhm,
to do things
yeah,
on our own.
yeah,
But for me, I think one major thing, is with reviving the publishing industry and
mhm,
also with the government showing more interest and giving more attention to that aspect as well.
yeah.
And also people understanding that books shouldn't just only be about academia.
Hmm.
You know, we can have books, we can have fiction, we can have non-fiction that can also
Even
teach
poetry,
people things. Even
poetry
poetry,
has
exactly.
so
And
much.
people can learn from all these as well.
Mhm, yeah.
Right?
Poetry has the power to impact so much change as well. Like, just
Of
you can read a
course.
simple poem, and there's a lot it's trying to tell you. And aside the whole exam, going to school, learning academic stuff, writing exams, there's a lot to life, and some are hidden in these books that people are. These stories people are willing to share, but if they're not getting this chance to publish or get it out there, like it's like we
Yeah,
are denying ourselves that opportunity to learn or to grow.
yeah, that's true. That's true. So
Mm-hmm.
I I just feel that once we're able to revive the publishing industry, once people are more interested, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um in publishing books that have nothing to do with academics or academia,
Mm-hmm.
I think it would be a starting point. Because I've
Mm-hmm.
seen other countries also publishing fiction a lot. Like you find people publishing
Yeah, a lot
fiction,
of books. Yeah.
you find people publishing
Even look at
nonfiction.
our brothers, Nigeria. Oh Lord.
Yeah, and
Sometimes
they're
I'm like,
thriving.
they are, they are.
They're
They are
thriving.
selling themselves to the international market, and it's
Exactly.
it's so beautiful the way they inspire each other. Now there are a lot, most of even the books, the fiction books that, or the literature books that are being used in our schools now. You
Mm-hmm.
get a few of them written by Ghanaians. If it's a Ghanaian, it's either an Ama Edu book, or
Yes, yes,
it's
yes, yes. You're
encouraging.
right.
It's not
Yeah,
encouraging.
I remember there was a time I called a bookkeeping house. So when after I called them, they told me to call back. I think in an hour or a few minutes later. So do you know that when I call back and I introduce myself, they hang up the phone.
Look at that.
Exactly. They hang up the phone.
You're not
So
even
it's
given the
like
chance to say what you want to say.
exactly, exactly. So I don't know, but I think I'm just hoping that there will come a time when we'll actually have vibrant publishing houses.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
We are hoping and praying.
yes, yes, yes. We hope so.
Mhm. Wow, we are slowly getting to the end of the conversation. Earlier
Mhm.
you mentioned how social media is also helping our craft. Would you want to share how has networking or social media helped you personally, or how do you think female writers or writers in general can tap into that positive impact social media and networking has on our career?
Um, so I think one thing is I'll always advise writers to have social media pages.
Mm,
That will always be a start, and try to publicize your work. So for
mm.
me personally, whenever I post on my blog, I try to share it on
Yeah, I see that a lot.
mm, Yeah, like I share it on all my platforms. You
Mm,
know, I'll share it on WhatsApp, I'll share it on Instagram, I'll share it on Facebook,
mm,
you know. So just put your work out there. It doesn't
mm,
matter if anyone comments on it or if anyone likes it or not.
mm,
It doesn't
mm.
matter because some way, somehow, someone will notice you. People always do.
Definitely. Mm.
But once you hide and we don't get to see what you do, you'll be
Mm.
hidden forever if care
Yes.
is not taken.
Yeah.
So I think social media is a way you can start building your own brand,
Mm.
letting people get to know you,
Mm.
as a person, who you are, what you do. And I think with that, one day you can be fortunate enough to actually hit big.
Yeah.
You never know how, but
Mm.
it's just a starting point and a positive one as well.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm.
and like you said, with networking too, I've actually got quite a few
Mm.
from social media like
Mm.
LinkedIn and even
Mm.
on IG,
Mm.
Instagram. Yes, I've
Mm. Mm.
actually got the opportunity to network with people
Mm.
who impacted me
Mm.
positively.
Mm.
Yeah, so I would just advise, every female writer and every writer out there to do same.
Mm. Mm. I think there's this thing people usually say that if people will not promote you, you have to promote yourself.
Oh yes, you have to. You actually have to, like I was saying, and having a blog can actually be a start.
Mm.
Like I
Yeah.
think for me, I've been blogging for over 5 years now.
You see.
I've been a literary I've been a literary blogger.
But
So
wait,
now
wait.
all my
Mm-hmm.
networks,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh no, please go on.
yeah. So now all my network people around me, they all know me as a writer.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
even because I was a published writer back then, but because I used to write. I used to post on my
Mm.
blog. I shared with people,
Mm.
and I had that brand. I was branded as a writer, and
Mm.
whoever remembers me as a writer
Right.
and someone who does this particular thing. And just today,
Mm.
just right before our interview, I got a WhatsApp message from a friend
Mm.
who told me that a female friend of his
Mm.
lacked the motivation to write. She's a good writer, but so far it's like she's lacking that
Mm.
motivation. So he was asking me
Mm.
how I can help. So
Wow.
why do you think he's asking me this? Because he's one person that when I started with my blog,
Mm.
he always showed interest. Like he
Mm.
always read my work. And that's why
Mm.
now he's referring me to someone.
And
So
this,
that
yeah.
is the brand. That's the
Mm.
brand I've been able
Built
to,
for yourself. Yeah.
acquire for myself
Mm.
or achieve.
Mm.
And I
Mm.
and I had to start as, by myself.
Yes.
So I always advise people to always start from somewhere so that people can also meet you halfway.
Yes. Yes. That's very
So
good.
always start something, no matter how
Mm.
small it is. Even if you want to post a few lines of poetry on
Mm.
Facebook, on IG, even if you don't have
Mm.
a blog, just use your social media page. Just
Mm.
write something. Somebody will
Mm.
read. Someone will definitely read it.
Sometimes people are scared maybe when they share their work others will copy their work or something like that, but that's the only way you can actually connect with people. Hello, Nazreen. Hello.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Uh-huh. Yes, yes, I can hear you now. So I was saying that sometimes people are afraid of sharing their work because they feel it might be copied or someone may steal their work or something. But I feel you would have to gain that exposure to a point, because if they don't know you, they don't know your work. How are you going to sell yourself to anybody? Like sometimes, but
The,
I'm just saying this because people like it's something it's kind of a concern that people share whenever you're like share your work, promote yourself on social media and things like that.
the thing is, so if you don't share yourself, how then will people know you? I mean, if you
Yeah.
don't share your work, how
Mm,
then will people know you?
mm,
Even me, I had that fear.
mm.
Even with my blog, I'm like, I actually thought about it myself. I was like, okay, I'm posting
Yeah,
this,
we all
if
have that.
someone decides to,
Yeah,
but then it's still my
creators.
work. If
Mm,
the thing is, for me, if I ever find out that someone has copied my work,
mm,
I'll let you know that you copied my work. And I
yes.
have evidence, and people have read my work. I have
Correct.
witnesses, and
Mm,
I have these witnesses because I shared my work with them.
so they are familiar
You
with your
know,
work.
so
Mm,
let's say, for instance, I wrote something, or I published something on my blog in 2019. We're in
mm,
2025, and someone writes a similar thing. People read what I wrote in 2019. If I share this new work that someone has done with them, and they're able to tell the difference, who would they say copied the work, or
yeah.
who would they say
The
copied from whom?
originator. Yeah.
You know,
Mm, mm,
exactly. So once you share it, you have witnesses.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so I always say sharing is better than hiding it.
yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. It makes so much sense. But
Yeah.
are people really reading these literary blogs? Because now I feel like everyone doing blogging because of the money in this whole selling these negative stories, celebrity stories, and stuff like that. People like there are blogs that are mostly focusing on these lifestyle celebrity
Oh
stories,
yeah.
negative stories about people, gossip, all these things going on. Are people really reading literary blogs like your blog, for instance? Do you how will you how will you rate like the level of patronage or how people are reading, reviewing your work and stuff? And do you get feedback?
Oh yes. I always get feedback. I
Mm,
always get feedback. So like I said, when I post on my blog, there are times people actually, leave comments on the blog, and some
mm,
also send me DMs,
mm,
or private messages. They're like, oh yeah,
mm,
this story was really good. So not everyone will actually post on the blog, but I
mm,
actually get that those comments personally. They send me personal messages to tell me that
mm,
they love this. And honestly, I really don't look at what other people do. If someone
mm,
decides to be a lifestyle blogger, that's their decision,
mm,
right? It's their choice. But I
mm,
have decided that I want to be a literary blogger,
mm,
and I'm
mm,
proud of it.
mm,
I wear this cap so proudly
mm,
that
mm,
I love it, because not
mm.
everyone can be a literary blogger.
Yeah. Yes, yes.
So once you're able to start that, you should be proud of yourself
Mm,
that you're
mm,
able to start something, you're able to be creative enough. Um, you don't really have to follow the trend, because
mm.
everyone does what works for them. So
Yeah,
people,
yeah.
so those, doing the lifestyle blogging, it's
Mm.
what
It
works
works
for
for
them.
yeah.
Yeah. And I'm going to be honest, with literary blogging, you barely get any money. So
Oh,
for me, like I said, it's more like it's more like a hobby and a
mm,
passion for me, and I love it.
mm,
You know, you wouldn't really get so much from it, but it's just a decision I made, and it's something I love, and that's what keeps me going, and that's all that matters to me actually.
mm.
So
But I
yeah,
think indirectly you can make money from it, from even people reading your blog, and then now finally you come out that okay, I've published the book. They're already familiar with your work.
of course, yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes,
So
yes.
indirect, well, it's kind of it won't give you money just like how people just go and read celebrity stories and
Oh
clickbait
yes.
stuff,
Yeah,
but
you
mm,
wouldn't get that
mm,
much, to be
mm.
honest, you wouldn't.
Well, well, this one
Yeah.
I just brought it up because I know there are some people who be considering converting their literary blogs into lifestyle or gossip,
Oh
celebrity
no,
gossip
they
blogs and
shouldn't.
stuff.
No, they shouldn't. Like I said, it depends on what you want. You know your goals.
Yeah,
And don't
yeah,
let anyone distract you.
yes.
Right? Don't let anyone distract you. Know what you want and focus on that.
Mm,
And that's what I've been doing for the past 5 years.
mm.
Also. So just, focus on what you want
Mm.
and don't really look at anyone.
Thank you for that advice.
Yeah.
Okay, so are there any new projects you're working on? New writing projects? Any new book coming up?
Uh, for now, I for now there's no new book
Mm,
coming up.
mm.
Yeah, I just like I said, now I just do short stories,
Okay.
but yeah, I think I'm trying to work on other bigger projects.
Mm.
Yeah, but they are not really certain.
Mm, mm,
Yeah, but so far I more focus on the short stories. But yeah, certainly there will be a big project
mm, mm.
sometime to come. Yes,
You're
there's a
looking
big
forward
project.
to that.
Yes, yes.
Talking about the blog, how often do you share these stories? How often can we go there to read some of these stories?
Oh, whenever
And
you
can you
go to
share
my
the
blog,
social? Mm.
hmm
Yeah, and after that, just share your social media handles and your blog pages and stuff with that.
oh yeah, so for my blog, whenever you go there, you find something to read. Yeah,
Mm,
whenever you visit my blog, you always find something to read. If you go to the poetry section, you find so many poems. If you go to
mm,
short stories, so you find same.
mm.
Yeah, so yeah, you can actually visit there anytime.
Okay, can you share the handles and the page names so
Yeah,
that?
so for my blog is nasreenzankawa.com. So it's my full name,
Oh, okay,
nasreenzankawa.com.
okay,
And once you go to the menu, just click on blog.
okay.
It will take you to yeah my personal blog.
There is okay.
Yes. Yeah. And for my social media handles, I use Nasreen Zankawah as well. So my
Mm,
full name.
okay.
Yeah.
On
Yeah.
Facebook, Instagram.
Yes. So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, X, I use Nasreen Zankawah.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Najrin. We've had a very interesting conversation.
Thank you too,
Um,
Abigail. Mhm.
but finally, what word of advice or encouragement, let me put it that way, would you want to share with any female writer who is aspiring or who wants to pursue writing as a career? Like, what word of advice do you have for them?
Um, like I said previously, first you just need to have that passion
Mm,
because at some point that's the only thing you need. Like I said, you may not actually get that financial gain as fast
mm,
as you'd want to.
mm,
So it takes some patience, you know.
mm,
So what you need to be patient with yourself, right?
mm,
So
mhm,
when you need to be patient with yourself, have that passion and make sure that passion is so strong. And also be
mm,
confident in your skill, in your talent. Be
mm,
confident. There are times when you get maybe you even get feedback that you don't like. I have personally had feedbacks that were so bad
mm.
that it ruined my mood for an entire day. Like my mood was ruined from morning to evening.
So
So
sad.
it happens. You get all those things, but
Mm,
just don't give up regardless. Know what you want and just go for it. And with time, you actually you actually see results.
mm,
Results that you want.
mm.
Doors will open for you.
Yeah,
Trust me, like some doors will open for you, and you'll also be able to achieve some credibility.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know,
Mm,
yeah. So just in a nutshell, just keep going. Let your passion drive you. Try to connect with other writers.
mm,
Try to be helpful to other writers as well.
mm,
And just put your work out there
mm, mm,
regardless whether you're confident, because for me I have actually struggled with confidence myself. I
mm,
have, and
mm,
and sometimes I still do.
mm, mm.
Yeah, and it's normal, like it's
Yeah,
normal to
it
feel
is.
that way,
I
but
think we've all reached that point in our lives before.
because there are times when you read the works of others and you're like, my goodness, this person is so good,
You
and then you
see,
start comparing them to yourself.
you're tempted to do that.
That's the worst thing you can ever do to yourself. I am a victim. I would not advise anyone to do that.
To do that.
You know? Yeah, so please just don't do that at all. Just believe in yourself, trust yourself, trust
Mm,
your skill, and you'll be
mm.
fine.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much. That's really great advice. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Nazreen. I enjoyed the conversation, and I know anyone who will listen to this episode will pick their lessons from it because I think your journey is very inspirational, and well, you're still writing, so it means
Yeah.
that there's still a lot of, you don't just give up on yourself whenever you get some of these feedbacks and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. I think
Yeah.
we there's a lot we are all picking from this conversation and your story. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you too. Thank you for having me. I equally enjoyed this episode. Yeah, and I really hope everyone else would.
Okay, so your social media handles: Nasreen Zankawah on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn,
LinkedIn.
right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yes,
your
yes.
blog as well. The same
Yeah, my
name.
blog too. NasreenZankawah.com. Yeah, the
Okay,
same name.
all right. We'll do that, and then I think um I'm interested in reading some of the short stories. I also need inspiration right now, so maybe you might get
Oh yes, you're welcome. You're
you may
welcome to
get
read
me some
them. Yeah.
inspiration. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, and enjoy
You're
the rest of
welcome.
your day.
Thank you, and you too.
All right. Bye.
Okay. Bye.